Hello, everyone. Just thought I would pop on and go through some stuff related to Revelation 21. I normally do a preview video of content that will be forthcoming in the next chapter, and I have not done that yet before I actually started my written study. So I thought I would do that now. It's going to give this a minute to see if anybody pops on to let me know. I am actually. Oh, good. Okay. Hi, Annette. Hi, Teddy. Nice to see you guys. Just wanted to make sure that my my sound was working. Hi, Sean. Hi, Joseph. Nice to see you guys. Hi, Richard and Marty. Hi, Indigo. This is just going to be a relaxed, kind of informal Revelation 21 preview of what is going to be coming in the writing. I normally do this before I start writing, but it was important for me to address a couple of questions that came up. So I did that. And then I put out my part 1 study yesterday. But there are a lot of things that I kind of previewed that will be forthcoming in a post that I wrote yesterday. And said, hey, if you haven't been following along and you're just jumping in, here are some of the chapters we're going to be pulling information from in the remainder of the study. And that includes Revelation 2 and Revelation 4 and 7 and 17 and 20. Revelation is a book that builds upon itself. And yes, the majority of the imagery is taken from other books of the Bible. So it's a comprehensive pulling together of a whole lot of subject matter in very few words. But then it will repeat itself and borrow from concepts that have already been introduced in the book to reintroduce them and to re-explain something else. So that's kind of where we're at with Revelation 21, is it's borrowing from things that were already introduced in other chapters of the book. And so it was more a statement of, if you didn't know this, here are the places it borrows from. And if you want to get a head start on checking that out, here's where you can read or watch the videos to do that. Hi, LA. Hi, Grant. Hi, Megan. Hi, Jeffrey. Hi, Howard. Hi, Zero Cool FLT. So nice to see you guys all. Okay, so one of the coolest things, and this actually, so God is always purposeful. I know that with the expanded channel, there are a lot of folks who are coming over that have very, very, very different viewpoints about certain things. Totally cool. We can agree to disagree. I will say that some of the things that come up are a little bit mind-boggling to me, just because I never would have interpreted something that way. And so just me from the, psychology perspective, trying to understand other people, I was like, where did you get that? Like, did you come up with that and just think that that's what it says? Or did someone teach you that? And so I'm just kind of interested in the background of the thought processes and the thought patterns that kind of bring us to it. Like, I'm just by the book, literalist whenever possible, not really thinking about like I don't know. It's intriguing to me. It's all just very interesting to me. So, there's always, without fail, always 100% of the time, God will bring something up that seems so, or God will bring someone to my channel who posts a comment that's seemingly so random and off the wall. And then I'm like, how? Like, I don't understand how. But then it will be totally relevant to something I need to talk about. It's just so cool how he works things like this. And so it might be really weird in the moment, and I might have no conceptual understanding of why someone would even think that. And then yet what comes out of that for someone else that will then comment on that video becomes important to the subject matter I'm going to discuss. So all things work together for good. All things work together for good. But in the moment, sometimes I'm like, make it make sense, because it doesn't make sense. I love Jesus reigns forever. Hello, welcome. Hi, Andrea Reed. Hi, Nikki. Hi, New Jersey HVAC guy. So it's just funny because like everything is purposeful, even if you don't understand it in the moment. It's all purposeful. Totally is. So what I'd like to do is start by addressing a concept that has come up a couple of times recently. And it has to do with the limiting of memories, which is the wiping away of tears. And it has to do with not like tears of joy, it's tears of sorrow. This is really emphasized in verse 4 of Revelation 21. It's mentioned a couple of different times, once directly, once indirectly, and then directly again with more emphasis put on what types of tears would be wiped away. God shall wipe away all tears from eyes, and there shall be no more death, neither sorrow nor crying, neither shall there be any more pain, for the former things are passed away. So this is actually a re-emphasis of two concepts that were brought together individually. So the first time we see this is actually in Revelation 7. That's part of the reason it's super important to understand who the multitude that no man can number in the heavenly throne room is, because the last verse of Revelation 7 says, the Lamb shall feed them and lead them to living fountains of waters, and God shall wipe away all tears from their eyes. So there's an important concept embodied in there. What tears would he be wiping away? And so when I get into the concept of, and I've talked about this, and so the question has come up is, will we remember people that we knew on earth? It's not about that. It's about the wiping of tears associated with pain and sorrow. Because you have to consider, and this is kind of like taking a step back and maybe reading into it, but why would someone who's in the heavenly throne room being in the presence of God, waving palms, rejoicing because they're, with their victorious king who came and got them? What purpose would there be of wiping away tears? You're not talking about tears of joy. You're talking about tears of sorrow. We get into it. Okay. I think it was once upon a time, I heard J.D. Farag say this. This is a long time ago when I used to listen to his prophecy updates, a long time ago. And he said there's going to be two things that like, if you were to personalize a reaction when you get up to heaven, say, they're not here. Oh, they are here. Like people that you would expect to not be there are there. And then people you would hope are there are not going to be there. That's where you get into the wiping of tears from eyes, is the sorrow, the pain associated with the knowledge that the people you wanted to be there aren't there. And interestingly enough, this concept, I was going to reintroduce it in Revelation 21 because it brings, like I said, it brings that concept from Revelation 7. And then in Revelation 20, when we're talking about the restored heaven and earth for kingdom, in Isaiah 25, when it talks about that, Isaiah 25 and Isaiah 65, when it talks about the new heavens and the new earth, it talks about the former things not coming into mind. Okay, so that's related to unglorified bodies of people having no memory of that which came before, with the negative connotation. The former things associated with the current heavens and the earth will not come into mind. So you've got a concept that's embodied with the glorification process of those who are seen in the heavenly throne room on day 1 of the 70th week, waving palms, rejoicing, their victorious king came and got him, kingdom presentation, God's dwelling among them. And there's going to be two realizations at that point, if we were allowed to have them. Certain people are there that we didn't expect, great, but certain people are not there, and that's going to make people sad. That is absolutely going to make people upset. And there was a comment that I got from a subscriber, Elizabeth, that was actually very clearly embodied this principle and made me probably delve a little bit deeper into this concept that I would have otherwise, which is why I'm totally grateful that that weird things get brought up that seem weird in the moment that lead to things that are quite helpful because God's just marvelous like that. She said, and this was in the aftermath of posting the Revelation 21 part 1. She said, thank you for this. It's so hard for some of us to wrap our minds around this. And I don't remember what that might have. The eternal separation part, that it is sentient, whether it's the good sentient eternal life or the bad sentient eternal torment. It is an actual fact of reality that will exist in eternity. And she said it's hard for some of us to wrap our minds around this because so many of us know and love people who may not truly be saved. Separation from Christ and from family feels like consequence enough without the horrific eternal damnation in the lake of fire. Totally agree with that. There are people who have been raised in Christian cults, such as Mormonism or Jehovah's Witnesses, who have a completely distorted view of Jesus, yet simultaneously, some are the best Christians I know. They lead lives of submission and service, happily working for their idea of the Lord. There's a lot in quotation marks. Therefore, we grasp to the concept of absence of light is darkness and conflate that idea with eternal separation from God. She said, my son's grandmother recently passed away, dying in this exact scenario. Obviously, only God knows her heart and if she's truly saved or not. It's just so heartbreaking to think a woman who lived in her faith and her family will be suffering and tormented for all eternity because her theology was wrong. And I said, God is able to work wonders beyond what we can imagine in people's hearts. Only he knows the truth. I have every expectation that this is why he wipes away tears from off our faces and why former things will not come into mind. It's another burden he bears to see the lost and know the anguish of separation. He will be sparing us from the same. And I fully believe that that is why we are told this twice, because there are 2 times when this separation of people is going to lead to abject sorrow. When you realize that they are not among the people and you are potentially going to be separated from them forever. And that knowledge is, I can't even imagine. Abstractly right now, it's still a theory. I mean, we know people who have passed away that probably weren't believers. And so it's not abstract in that concept. But in the future, talking about there's going to be a final day. The rapture is going to happen, and there is going to be a separation event. And as hard as that is to imagine, there will become a point when the rapture is past, and we will have full knowledge based on our glorified, perfected bodies. The knowledge part is talked about in 1 Corinthians 13. Right now we see through a glass darkly, but then face to face we will know even as we are known. So it talks about the glorification process leading to a perfection of understanding. And so there's a grace aspect of that what comes with the good is also going to be bad. It's, the fruit of the knowledge of good and evil, right? And so how much are we going to remember of the bad? The good, I imagine, why wouldn't we? But it's another part of the bema is that what stands through the fire will be for reward and what doesn't will be for loss, but he himself shall be saved. So does that include bad memories being for loss? There's no benefit to that. There's no perceived benefit to that. And so this is why it's important to one of the reasons it's important to understand Revelation 7, you have the redeemed royal priesthood in heaven, the totality of them. On day 1, waving palms, because palms are associated to day 1 of tabernacles, which is a 7-day period of God dwelling among men. So you're showing, or you're being shown this group of people on day 1 of the 70th week when it starts there in heaven, celebrating the first of those 7 days in the wedding chamber. God's dwelling among them, and he's wiping tears from off faces. There is not a positive connotation to wiping tears off faces. There's a negative connotation to wiping tears off faces. And what would that be? Again, when you move into Revelation 20's discussion of the new heavens and new earth, or restored heavens and earth, it talks about in Isaiah 65 that the former things will not come into mind. And so you put these 2 concepts together in eternity, and you see it kind of piecemealed in other places in Revelation. But it's definitely the negative connotation that is being spared from. So Revelation 21, verse 4, again, it says, and God shall, verse 3, and I heard a great voice out of heaven saying, behold, the tabernacle of God is with men. He will dwell with them, and they shall be his people, and God himself shall be with them and be their God. This is, again, evidenced in Revelation 7 for those of us who will be in the heavenly throne room, who participate in the rapture of the church. And it says in Revelation 7:15, therefore are they before the throne of God and serve him day and night in his temple. He that sitteth on the throne shall dwell among them. They shall hunger no more, neither thirst any more, neither shall the sun light on them, nor any heat. For the Lamb which is in the midst of the throne shall feed them, and shall lead them unto living fountains of waters, and God shall wipe all tears from their eyes. So there is a group of people who achieved that 1,007 years before everybody else, and that's us. One of the blessings. And then you have the 70 or 70th week, and then you have kingdom, where there's going to be not a glorification process of those people, because they're going to go, the remnant and the people living will go into the kingdom in their natural bodies to replenish the earth, repopulate the earth. But it says associated to that heavens and earth, the former things which are associated to the current heavens and earth are not going to come into mind. So there's going to be some kind of doing away with things that aren't particularly productive to maybe mental states. And one of the things that the grace of God is going to make it so that it's not unbearable, whatever that might be. And then for everyone in eternity, which means the people who are righteous during kingdom, not just the people who go into kingdom, but the ones who are born into kingdom and believe in the Lord Jesus Christ and are saved. There's going to be a change to glory. And this is indicative of God wiping away tears from their eyes. And there's going to be no more pain and sorrow and death and all of that. So this is indicative of when eternity comes. Those who are in their mortal bodies are going to undergo the same change that people who are alive at the rapture will. There's no resurrection for them, but they will be changed. And that's what verses 3 and 4 in Revelation 21 are talking about, is the change to glory. And through the process of perfection, there's a wiping away of those things which wouldn't stand through the fire, which are associated to death, sorrow, crying, and pain. So it's an interesting concept, and I think it just underscores the grace of God in another aspect that maybe we wouldn't consider. But it has nothing to do with who we will or won't recognize in heaven and things like that. It has to do with the negative memories and things that would be attributed to negativity, sorrow. I mean, things that would produce tears of grief that he is wiping away. And what is he going to do in order to wipe those away? And it's going to have something to do with that. So I just think it's an interesting concept. And again, grateful that even though there was something that was asked that I was like, what? But still, answered it and stuff. And then someone else turned it into something really good and really useful for just kind of human understanding overall. So I think that was fun. I'll go back to chat before I move on to the next concept. Hi, Tabby. Hi, Kendall D. Christ is King. Yes, he is. Hi, Kendall. Hi, Arturo. Hi, Anahi. If I hope I'm saying your name right. Save a life. Hello. Hi, B. Right. Hi, Gary. Hi, Teresa and Kedine. Oh, Macedonia. Hello. JKW from Scotland. Oh, Teddy, you're in Korea. I assumed you were in some type of Asian country because of your name in symbols. Very cool. Hi, Kelly and Flybry. Hello, Jude. Hey, Jude. Don't be afraid. I'm ridiculous. Hi, Leah. Hi, Christy. Hi, Crazy Life. Oh, you're from Michigan also. Hey, Lucifer. Yay, Michigan. It's warm today. And I. Oh, okay. I'm so sorry. Thank you for clarifying. Hi, Alicia. Megan, you said, is it just me, or does it seem difficult to understand how children born in the kingdom could reject him, and how us in glorified bodies could not just pounce on them and beg them to believe? I cannot for the life of me understand, but it's the same. I mean, I guess you'd have to liken it to the people who didn't believe in him the first time. But it seems like there would be such more significant evidence the second time. I don't know. I agree with your assessment of that. I fully lack understanding, but I also lack understanding of why people wouldn't want to believe now. So, but yeah, I right there with you. Okay, so let's go to one of the other things, which is super cool. somebody had asked me about this, and this is the Jasper. This is the Jasper. And there's also a really neat, link to Ephesians. But okay, so we know, hopefully we all know. Revelation 4, right? In the heavenly throne room, there's 4 stones. Hi, Daniel from Malaysia. There are 4 stones in the heavenly throne room that we are shown in Revelation 4. This is imagery. So from the first, let's see, I can just read it, right? I'm trying to quote it from memory because I don't sometimes flip in my pages, just don't want to do it. After this, I looked. Behold, the door was open in heaven. The first voice which I heard was as it were of a trumpet talking with me, which said, come on up and see the stuff. Come up hither, and I will show you things which must be hereafter. So immediately he's in the spirit. He's going to see prophecy. Behold, a throne was set in heaven, and one sat on the throne. And he that sat was to look upon like a jasper and sardine stone. There was a rainbow round about the throne, in sight like unto an emerald. Through all of that imagery, and I spend a lot of time setting up for that imagery in my Revelation 4 study. But what we are to understand of that is that there is one who's on the throne, and that is going to be the royal high priest and mediator of the new covenant. Through a whole bunch of stuff that I'm not going to go through right now, but you are to understand that that is the royal high priest on the throne who is the mediator of the new covenant. Royal, king and priest. So royal, this comes from Revelation 3:21. To him that overcometh will I grant to sit with me in my throne, even as I also overcame and am set down with my Father in his throne. So the one on the throne is Jesus. I mean, it's Father and Son, yes, but Jesus is on the throne, sharing the throne with Father. And royal high priest means king and priest. He's the original king and priest. This is after the order of Melchizedek, uniting the office of king and priest in one single tribe, because in the Old Testament, it was Levi held the priesthood and Judah held the kingship. So Jesus, the line of the tribe of Judah, the root of David, unites the office of king and priest in one person. The royal high priest upon his throne is what you're seeing in Revelation 4. This is also evidenced by the jasper and the sardine stone, which are the first and the last stones in the breastplate that the high priest wore in the Old Testament. This comes from Exodus 28. So there were 12 stones in the breastplate that the high priest wore, and you're looking at the royal high priest upon his throne in Revelation 4. Grant, no, you're not blocked. And no, your comment, I don't think so. Nope. I have, I'm not sure. Let me check one thing. I'm not sure how the moderation that I have set up for my channel equates to the live chat. So that might be part of it. Hold on. Let me see. Let me change a couple of things here and see if maybe that will help. But I see you and I'm not doing anything with your comments. Yeah. Yeah, it said you retracted it. So I'm not sure. But anyway, going back to Revelation 4, the royal high priest upon his throne, the breastplate that the high priest wore in the Old Testament. There were 12 stones in it, listed in birth order of the 12 tribes of Israel. The first was a sardine, and the last was a jasper, representing oh goodness. I just hid that one. Yeah, I don't know what's going on. Sorry, Grant. Okay, sorry. I want to address it, and I want to try to figure out what's going on. But Keeping going. Sorry. Okay. Royal high priest upon his throne. Exodus 28. And now my son is calling me. God's telling me to be done. That's what he's telling me. All right, Exodus 28. Talking about the breastplate of judgment. Thou shalt set in it settings of stone, even 4 rows of stones. The first row shall be a sardius, a topaz, a carbuncle. This shall be carbuncle. This shall be the first row. The second shall be an emerald, a sapphire, a diamond. The third row, a ligure, agate, and amethyst. And the fourth row, a beryl, an onyx, and a jasper. So you see sardius is the first and jasper is the last. So that would be sardius is Reuben and jasper is Benjamin. It's not specifically important to understand who they relate to specifically at this point, although it becomes important for Revelation 21 to understand who the jasper relates to. But in the context of Revelation 4, that you are seeing the first and the last stones represents the Alpha and the Omega, who Jesus referred to himself as in Revelation 1, which he says twice. In Revelation 1:8, I am Alpha and Omega, the first and the last. So you are seeing the Alpha and Omega on the throne, who is also the royal high priest of the new covenant on the throne in Revelation 4. So you're seeing him as the first and the last, represented by the first and the last stones in the breastplate. But they're in reverse order because he's not the royal high priest of the old covenant. He's the royal high priest in the new covenant. And we were told by Jesus himself in the Gospels, the first shall be last, and the last shall be first. The group who is sitting in heavenly places with Jesus in Revelation 4 is the redeemed royal priesthood, who believers in the present dispensation comprise. The first group to whom kingdom was offered rejected it, and they're going to get there last. Israel, the Lamb's wife, makes herself ready in Revelation 19. But the bride gets raptured and is shown in the heavenly throne room before the start of the 70th week, as evidenced by the redemptive event in Revelation 4 and 5. However, and then the rainbow round about the throne is in sight like unto an emerald, because the emerald is the fourth stone, which represents the fourth son, who is Judah. And all of this imagery works in conjunction to show you that you are looking at Jesus, the Alpha and Omega. Jesus, the one to whom the gospel was, the one who came to Israel for the purpose of redeeming Israel, and they rejected him, is also the same God of the Gentiles who were offered new covenant through the dispensation of the grace of God that was given to Gentiles when the Jews rejected it and after he went to the cross. So this is the reverse order of the stones, representing first and the last. The last is first and the first is last, but that he's the Alpha and Omega all the same. And that the rainbow round about the throne is in sight like unto an emerald is illustrative of him being the mediator of the new covenant, which the rainbow represents. And he is the mediator of the tribe of Judah, which is represented by the emerald. And then there is a fourth stone, which is the sapphire, which is the sea of glass, which is explained in Exodus and Ezekiel to be the sapphire, the paved work of sapphire in front of the throne or under the throne. So the sea of glass is actually a reference to Jesus being the righteous judge sitting on the throne, because the sapphire is related to the tribe of Dan, whose name means judge. So you're seeing the righteous judge on the throne, who's also the royal high priest, who's also the Alpha and Omega, who's also the mediator of the new covenant. So all of this imagery works in conjunction to help you understand who you're seeing. And then obviously the elders are his royal priesthood, redeemed in bodily form, physically relocated, and are sitting in heavenly places with Christ Jesus our Lord. So the Jasper imagery, already understood by the stones, which we should have studied out in Revelation 4, is now being reintroduced in Revelation 21. And I was going to go through more than this, but I do want to call my kiddo because he just had surgery yesterday, so I don't want to put him off for too long. So this will be the last thing I go through in this video. But Revelation 21, it says in verse 10, he carried me away in the spirit. So you're again seeing another prophecy, to a great and high mountain. That's Mount Zion. And showed me the great city, the holy Jerusalem, descending out of heaven from God, having the glory of God. And her light was like unto a stone most precious, even like a jasper stone, clear as crystal. The jasper is related to the tribe of Benjamin. Again, it's the last of the 12 stones listed in the breastplate that the high priest wore in the Old Testament. Benjamin is the last son. And if you look at the plot of land given to the tribe of Benjamin, it is, I'm going to show you, lot parceled to Benjamin. I'm going to bring this up on my screen. Here we go. Let me know when you guys can see that. Hi, the honest esthetician. Welcome. Okay, so this is the lot portioned to the tribe of Benjamin. What do you see right here? Jerusalem. Jerusalem. The actual physical city of Jerusalem on this earth is in the lot parceled to the tribe of Benjamin. And in the kingdom, when the kingdom comes to earth and the lots are parceled to the tribes, Jerusalem, where Jesus is going to sit on the throne of David and where the temple is going to be in the plot of land parceled to the tribe of Benjamin. And New Jerusalem is in sight like unto a jasper, telling you that it belongs to the tribe of Benjamin, whose stone is represented by the jasper and the breastplate of the high priest. So it's jasper because it's related to Benjamin. That's why. And I just think that's pretty interesting. And then the one thing I will end this with, because I think this is actually really fascinating, that there is a literal implication of a spiritual truth. And I know, say that 5 times or 3 times fast, honest esthetician, right? Okay, so verse 14, the wall of the city had 12 foundations, and in them the names of the 12 apostles of the Lamb. The actual foundations of New Jerusalem are the names of the 12 apostles. And this is a literal manifestation of a currently spiritual truth, which is evidenced in Ephesians 2, when it talks about us believing in the Lord Jesus Christ and being saved. And now, therefore, ye are no more strangers and foreigners, but fellow citizens with the saints and of the household of God. The household of God's New Jerusalem, folks. And are built upon the foundation of the apostles and prophets, Jesus Christ himself being the chief cornerstone. The literal implication of that is that we're going to live out our fellow citizenship in the household of God in New Jerusalem, which is the household of God. And that city itself is going to be, the foundations of which are going to be named the apostles, the 12 tribes. No, not the 12 tribes, the 12 apostles. And I just think that that's such a neat thing. It's like it says, like, spiritually, we're fellow citizens of the household of God. New Jerusalem, that's where our citizenship is. Hebrews 12 talks about that. Let's go to Hebrews 12. Verse 22, ye are come unto Mount Zion, unto the city of the living God, the heavenly Jerusalem, and to an innumerable company of angels, to the general assembly and the church of the firstborn, which are written in heaven, and to God, the judge of all, and to the spirits of just men made perfect, and to Jesus, the mediator of the new covenant, and to the blood of sprinkling that speaketh better things than that of Abel. So our citizenship is in New Jerusalem. We just haven't gotten there yet. There will come a point when we are citizens of New Jerusalem, which is in eternity, and the actual physical city itself is going to be foundationed upon, or the foundations of which are going to be the 12 apostles. And Ephesians says that we are built upon the foundation of the apostles and prophets, Jesus Christ himself being the chief cornerstone. I just think that's fascinating. So, I keep seeing messages being retracted versus deleted. And I'm not sure why they're being retracted, but that's probably got to do with the blocked keywords and phrases. I'll have to investigate and see what those might be, but my guess is that's what they are. Not sure. Megan, you said my Revelation 6 video is a great place to start. Lamentations and mourning and woe. I will say that I have in my most important end times info playlist 2 videos that talk specifically about concepts brought up. There's a multiple of them: the gathering together, the falling away, the revelation of the man of sin. There's a whole bunch of things that I address in these videos. Most important end times info, 2 videos. One is called Labor Day Learning number 4, 2 Thessalonians 2, 1 through 12. And the other is called There Shall Come a Falling Away First. What is this? And it's going to address all of the same things. And I also have a book that I wrote called In the Spotlight Volume 1, Departure, Desolation, Delusion, which is an expositional study free on my academia page of 2 Thessalonians 2, 1 through 12. So, thank you guys. Okay. So I am going to stop here. I might come back later and address a couple other things, but probably not. I'm probably just going to write the study and you'll find out then. 2 of the things that I wanted to point out, probably one was the most important, which I started with. But there are a lot of ties in this chapter to previous discussions in Revelation, which naturally we would assume, because it's not like he's just starting from scratch at the end of the book. So if you guys have questions, let me know. But that is all I have for you right now. So I will say thank you for your time. Hey, Roxanne, if I didn't say hi. Hi, Owl. Nice to see both of you. I want to make sure I didn't miss anything else. Yeah, no name dropping. No name dropping. Thank you, Megan, for your help. I appreciate you very greatly. So I will see you guys later. Have a great rest of your day.